Here are the 90-Day Fiancé couples that are shockingly still legally married. Guys, what is up? Max here, the Celeb Talk guy. Happy Friday, and we have a heavily requested video by you guys. So many of you guys are wondering who are the couples that were very low-key, very crazy out of their minds, and we all thought weren't going to make it, but surprisingly are still legally married. So I wanted to shoot this quick video for you guys today, so let's not waste any more time and just jump into these couples. The first one I want to get out of the way is Paul and Kareni. We all know they have had their unbelievably rocky relationship here, there, and all over the place. They have had a god-awful marriage, and even in August, they both filed, restraining orders on each other. So yes, their marriage was not working well. Last we heard that, Kareni was in Kentucky, and Paul, believe it or not, actually went back to Brazil. But now we have seen, and I don't know who, when, where, or why they reconciled their marriage, but we have now seen on Paul's social media, boom, that picture. It came out like 2 or 3 days ago, and yes, Paul and Kareni are not only, trying to make their marriage work, they appear to be relatively cordial and happy. So Paul and Kareni, number one, some of you guys might have already known that, but I feel like a lot of you guys knew that in August they were, going to end their marriage. They both filed restraining orders, but I feel like a lot of you guys didn't know that they have completely reconciled their marriage and now they're back together. Number two, and this is a good one, Anna and Marcel. They were from 90 Day Fiancé a few seasons ago last year. Boom, I'll show a picture right there. Do you guys remember them? She was from Nebraska. He was from somewhere overseas. He was very into his religion, which I believe was the Muslim religion, I believe. But she was divorced. She had 3 kids from a previous marriage. They were fighting constantly, and they were one couple that I was like set in stone. I was confident they are not going to get married. This is not going to work. And Marcel ended up actually getting on a plane and flying back to wherever he is from overseas. And we were like, oh, okay, good. Anna and Marcel are done. Marcel was just mean to her. He was mean to her kids. He was mean to her. And then his family was really mean to her over the phone. Once they found out that she had the kids and she was divorced, they were like, no, no, no. They were name dropping. It was not cool. So we were happy. We thought they were never going to get married. But boo-hoo, one thing led to another. I don't know how they pulled this off. Maybe it was scripted, maybe it was fake, but somehow Marcel ended up getting back on a plane like a day later, flying back to Nebraska, and him and Anna ended up actually getting married like on the last day before the K-1 visa expired. So I don't know if it was scripted, I don't know if it was fake. Anna and Marcel just claimed that no, what happened was Marcel left, Nebraska, he left the country, but because it was still within the K-1 visa time, they had to reach out, they requested some kind of a thing, and he was able to actually get on another plane, come back to America, and they got married. So I was just devastated. I thought they were a horrible couple. But the amazing thing is, Anna and Marcel are still together, and what we have seen on social media, they seem to be doing relatively well. Now, obviously, if it's on social media, they're not going to just, put out to the entire world how horrible their marriage is, but on 90 Day Fiancé, it was god-awful. We have now seen that they have opened up some kind of a store together selling honey and things with honey because they are a bunch of beekeepers. That's what, that's how they started their relationship, was from, this whole beekeeping thing. So they have a store together. They seem happy. They're still in Nebraska. We got to see them on a 90 Day Fiancé quarantine special. I guess Marcel is becoming more friendly with the 3 boys, but oh my god, I hated those 2 together, but surprisingly, they're still together. Here's another good one for you guys. Do you guys remember Rebecca and Ziad? They were from 90 Day Fiancé the other way, I think, because Rebecca went over to where Ziad was at, and oh my god, they were a bad couple. They had a long laundry list of issues. They were constantly fighting. Ziad was very conservative about Rebecca's clothing. They had a bunch of issues. And the icing on the cake really was Rebecca was still technically legally married to a man that was kind of in a similar situation as Ziad. She met a young man. He came over to the States. They got married and the guy just disappeared. So she was trying to get the divorce. She told Ziad all this stuff. He was devastated. He was mad. And not only that, Ziad's family and his sister could not stand Rebecca because Rebecca isn't as conservative and she is significantly older. Well, spoiler alert, Rebecca and Ziad actually got married. We didn't see that on 90 Day Fiance, but in April, I posted a video. It came out, I think Soap Dirt might have shared it, but it came out that actually Rebecca and Ziad did in fact legally get married in the US. Ziad made it over here, they got married, and now we believe Ziad is working at Rebecca's restaurant, because if you follow Rebecca on social media, I'm sure you have probably seen she is always posting about this restaurant. She doesn't own it, she just is a manager, but she's always posting, and that was kind of her thing. She was saying, you know, Ziad will be able to get a job there, and I'm like 99% confident that he is working there, but we all know he's in America, and they are still married. And oh my god, they were a god-awful couple. Here's a little bit more of a current shocker, and that is Kalani and Usoelu. We saw them on 90 Day Fiance. Horrible couple, horrible marriage. They still have no business being together. And once we saw the last, tell-all of 90 Day Fiance, it sounded like it was pretty much clear as day. Okay, Kalani and Usoelu, they're going to end their marriage. Their marriage will not be going on much longer. But believe it or not, surprisingly, we are pretty, much 100% confident that Kalani and Usoelu are still together. They're doing the 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Strikes Back together. So they're still on that together. They're lovey-dovey. They're romantic. They're clearly still together. And if you're wondering, well, how do they make their marriage work? I don't know. And it almost kind of makes me think, God, was all of their drama just like fake? Because we've heard rumors and comments that, geez, maybe some of their drama might have been a little bit scripted, a little bit fake. Like when the mom said that she just wants money, or when Tammy was trying to, go head to head with Kalani. Maybe it was fake, because I just don't understand how Kalani and Usoelu can have so many differences, how they can fight like all, 24/7, but at the end of the day, still be together in present day. It just seems a little bit far-fetched, doesn't it? But Kalani and Usoelu, they're still together. Oh, I love doing this so much. I love this show. I love catching up with all these old couples. And here's another very good one for all you 90 Day Fiance fans. Emily and Sasha. Do you guys remember them? Sasha was in Russia. Emily went over there, I think, for work. She met Sasha. He's a big, buff, and strong, handsome man. One thing led to another, and just like that, next thing you know, Emily's pregnant. So they did get married, and what happened was, it was the funniest thing. She was living over in Russia. She got pregnant. She had the baby. Then she wanted to go back over to the States, so her and Sasha picked up. They went to the States. Then they got married over in the States. Emily's sister just could not stand Sasha because he was always complaining and he was trying to nitpick this, that, and the other with her weight loss and a bunch of stuff. So, they kind of went head to head. They weren't the biggest of friends. And honestly, Emily's sister wasn't happy that Emily was trying to change herself and be more into fitness, when in reality, it sounded like Emily had no interest in fitness whatsoever. It just sounded like she was trying to put on a show for her new husband, Sasha. But long story short, they were a horrible couple. They really, I don't want to use the word horrible, but they were not a good couple. They really didn't have much of a connection. The only reason they got together is because of this baby. But the reason I thought they for sure were going to get a divorce is because Sasha was married 2 separate times and he has kids still over in Russia. So I was like, oh my God, I am confident he is just using Emily to come over to America, and then within a few months, boom, he's going to disappear. But I guess not, because it's been at least a year, maybe even a year and a half. And believe it or not, Sasha and Emily, they're living in like Oregon, I believe, and they're still happy, they're still doing well. We're still kind of hearing from them here and there on social media. I have a pretty big hunch they're not going to be coming back to the show anytime soon, but believe it or not, they're still married. Oh, I'm so excited. Here's another great one. And also, this is a very big spoiler. So spoiler alert. If you don't want to know, this couple was not married last we saw them, but they ended up getting married and they appear to still be married. And that is Mike and Natalie. Do you guys remember them? They were just like the weirdest couple. At first, I was like, oh my God, they're cute, they're sweet, I love them. But the more we saw them, we kind of saw that, geez, Natalie has a very very jealous side to her, you know, and she had all these jealousy issues and she was always kind of complaining. Mike, he had a lot of debt, he had a lot of credit card debt, so they didn't have a lot of synergy. But we also found out in like March or April that a spoiler came out that Mike and Natalie actually did in fact get married in the States. So I don't know if something changed. The last we saw them on 90 Day Fiance, Natalie was like, I'm done, this relationship is over, we can't get back together, this is over. So I don't know what in God's name really happened from then to now, because somehow Natalie made it back over to the US and they got married. And as far as we can tell, they are in fact still married. Here's another good one that are technically legally married. That would be Devin and Jihoon. We all know they got married in Korea, but, and we also already know that they ended their marriage. They are not, you know, together really, but legally, because they got married in Korea, and because Devin is now back in Utah. I have heard from so many of you guys, and I have done some research myself, that there's actually some laws that you have to kind of be present, and I think there was also a law, the fact that Devin met a new man, and she ran off with a new man, kind of. And so because of those two things, they cannot get a divorce legally, I believe, until the next 3 years. So 3 years literally has to fly by until Devin and Jihoon can legally get a divorce. So by law, Devin and Jihoon are still, in fact, still married. Okay, this is fun. Let's keep this going. The next couple is Annie and Robert. Obviously, I'll keep them quick because they are on Pillow Talk. I'm sure a lot of you guys do see them, but if you don't watch Pillow Talk, yeah, Annie and Robert, they were on a few seasons ago. And at first I was like, no. Because let me just say this. Annie and Robert only hung out for like 8 hours, maybe 9, maybe 10. It was not very long. He was on a cruise. They met online. He ended up stopping in the Dominican Republic. They hung out for a day. And I believe that same day, he got on one knee and he said, will you marry me? So some might say, hey, that's romantic. Some might say, like me, is he out of his mind? Because you could see Annie, at first glance, she was very opinionated, very kind of just loud and proud, and you know, it was either her way or the highway. So I was like, no way this couple is even gonna get married. They aren't gonna work. Then I ended up finding out that Robert actually has like 6 or 7 kids. I think he has 6 kids. Of course, Annie and Robert just had another kid, but I think he has 6, maybe 7, maybe even 8 kids. I think it's 7 though. But he has like 7 kids with like 6 different women, or maybe it's 7 kids with 5 different women. It's a lot of different people involved in the mix. So when I saw that they were together, I was like, no way, they aren't gonna get married, but they did get married, and the craziest thing is they are still married, and they appear to kind of be actually doing well. So I don't know what happened from when they first met to now, but when they first met and they were first dating, and she came over to America in that 90-day process, you know, she wanted money, she wanted nice things, and Robert was like, I'm an Uber driver, I'm not getting you any of that stuff. So somehow they ended up kind of making it work. But on Pillow Talk, we can see they're still married and they seem really happy. So like I said, I don't know what flipped the switch. And the next couple still married is Nicole and Azin. Wait. I am just joking. Just checking you guys to make sure y'all are still watching and paying attention, because no, Nicole and Azin never did get married, even though Nicole was blabbering that she wanted to marry him. But I'm just testing you guys to make sure y'all are still paying attention. The next real couple is Michael and Juliana, and boy, I am surprised. I don't know. Honestly, when I first saw them, I just thought, wow, she is incredibly young. That's all I thought. But then when I saw, okay, Michael's kids were like in love with her, and then even Michael's ex-wife became like best friends with Juliana, I was like, this is really kind of weird, but maybe they can make it work. But now in present day, they're actually still, they appear to be really happy, and they honestly seem to be one of the more real-ish kind of couples. Now let me just say, I hate to say this to Michael, because Michael seems to be a really nice guy, but to be honest, if Michael was broke, do you guys really think Juliana'd be all over him? boyfriend? Probably not. That is highly unlikely, but Michael, he is successful. He does well, and hey, Juliana, beautiful woman. She's all into him. I like Juliana. I don't think she's a complete user per se, but like I said, I definitely think, the money does not hurt the situation. So yeah, they're still together. They're still doing well. I was just going to do one more couple. Might as well just throw in two more really quick. Number one, because we just talked about Michael and Juliana, we might as well mention Tanya and Senjin. Believe it or not, they're still married. I don't know who and where, how, or why, but they are still in fact legally married. And the reason I kind of, bring them together with Michael and Juliana is because they both live in Connecticut, and surprisingly, they were actually hanging out like a week or two ago. So they're very close friends. They keep in touch with them. And Tanya and Senjin, boo-hoo, I don't think it's going to last much longer. I really do not believe so. I think they're just hanging on by a very thin thread. They are constantly fighting. We have heard from so many people that live in Connecticut that have ran into Tanya and Senjin in public, and they all say they're always just screaming at each other and they're fighting out in public. So I think what we see on the show is real. They're not a good match. They shouldn't be together, and I can only assume that their marriage is not going to last much longer, but as I record this video in October, they're still married. This is kind of a parody. It's kind of, like Devin and Jihoon, kind of, and that would be Lisa and Usman. Now, we all got to see Lisa and Usman get married legally in Nigeria. Then they came back, and they had just fight after fight after fight, and the real Usman came out. He, obviously, he was using Lisa. That wasn't hard to see. Then she came back. Then all of a sudden, he just cut her off because he got what he wanted. He wanted to become on the show. He wanted to become famous, and that's exactly what went down. So then after she came back, he kind of like cut her off. He was blocking her on social media, and they were fighting like crazy. However, they never legally actually did the divorce. Well, months later, he did send over the divorce papers, so we heard. So this is kind of a yes or no divorce, because as far as I have heard, I have not heard that they have actually sealed the deal and legally got divorced. Maybe they have behind closed doors, but as far as I have seen and heard, Usman sent the paperwork over here, but I have never heard confirmation that Lisa actually signed it. So I don't know if she just got the paperwork and just ripped it up and said, I'm not signing this thing, because she was, and I'm sure is, still really mad at Usman because he clearly used her. He scammed her. So, I don't know if they legally did ever get a divorce. It's kind of a funny one, like Devin and Jihoon, where clearly they're not together anymore, but legally, they might still possibly be legally married in Nigeria. So guys, 90 Day Fiance, I just rattled off like 10 random couples that I personally thought had no business getting married. They were not a good match. They should not have gotten married. But all 10 or 11 of these couples did get legally married. And now a lot of them, besides kind of two, Devin and Jihoon and Lisa and Usman, are still in a very happy relationship. So, it's unbelievable. It is shocking. And if there are any couples that you also want to get an update on, because we know, we see about 5 or 6 couples every season of 90 Day Fiance, and there's a few seasons each year, so we're constantly seeing new couples. If you guys ever want to, get any info or get any updates on any of the couples, just put in those comments below. Let me know who you want to hear more on. I love making videos like this because I love looking back on some of the greatest seasons and making videos like this. Talking about the new drama is fun, but when I can look back and talk about the old couples, that is the stuff I really love. So anyway, guys, please, if you enjoyed this video, please tap that like button and please hit the subscribe button. And really, if you want to hear any other new couples or any other updates, or if you wanted to share your thoughts, comment below what you're thinking, because I would love to hear from you guys. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have an incredible Friday night. We do have Love After Lockup on tonight, and I am so excited. So guys, thank you all so much for watching, and please stay tuned for many more videos.